would have won Jon Jones versus Daniel Cormier if they had fought at heavyweight? Now, I gotta tell you, in the world of stupidest questions that anybody could ever ask, in any scenario ever, that has got to be right in there. Like, getting a hold of Jon Jones is not easy to do. The last time I personally reached out to Jon Jones, I got a skin-toned emoji back of this, which is really funny. That was a point for Jon Jones, and everybody in the room that I showed it to also laughed. It was funny. But I'm just sharing for you, like, he's not the easiest dude to get an audience with. So if you do, why on earth did you ask him about an opponent who he's already beat twice? Oh, by the way, is 5 years retired. Like, what would have the thought been? There's an old chauvinistic joke from when I was a little kid. Why'd the woman cross the street? And then the answer is, that's not the point. What's she doing out of the kitchen? Have you guys heard that one? You were probably 5 when you did. But I feel like in this situation, how would Jon Jones do against Daniel Cormier at heavyweight? That's not the point. Why are you talking to Jon about anything other than Tom? That would be the point. Now, more so surprising for me was the engagement that this ridiculous question got. I mean, I thought last week we were at the height of silliness when the big question was going around about one gorilla versus 100 men. But now it's Jon versus Daniel, a fight that we've seen twice, but at a different weight class. A weight class where Daniel was the champion, and a weight class where Jon is currently the champion. And it just fascinates me in any way. Like anyone that wants to be a tough guy. And you never know what a guy will do to be a tough guy. Like, we don't actually know what you have to do. Do you gotta lift weights? Do you gotta get a tattoo? Do you gotta learn martial arts? I don't know. But whatever that is that you have to do to be a tough guy, or when you set out to be a tough guy, whatever that is, one thing they all have in common is that none of them, zero, not the weightlifters, not the wrestlers, not the boxers, not the guy that just walks down the hallway, none of them have a vision of being smaller. There has never been a guy to step forward in the badass business and want to be smaller than he currently is. And I just find that to be fascinating. Like, I don't know why there was ever a time that Jon Jones wasn't a heavyweight. I don't know. I don't know who didn't believe in him. I don't know who saw him and thought, hey, you do good, let's get some weight off you. That's what the real tough guys do. Daniel's, I do understand. I don't like it, but I do understand it. Daniel as a wrestler in college was 184 pounds. Daniel as a wrestler for the Olympic Games was 211 pounds. So that 205 was kind of a sweet spot, but we really never knew how well Daniel could do if he kept going up. But we didn't test it either because Daniel was officially a coach, not just a teammate and a friend. He was a cornerman. He officially was a coach of Cain Velasquez. And the coach always stands down to the athlete, at least by the code of wrestling, which is the code that Daniel follows. The athlete with eligibility, should they run into each other, gets the nod. So I understood why Daniel was 205 pounds for a period of time. But the idea that an outcome would change because of what the scale had said the day before. You have two heavyweights that are cutting weight down to 205 pounds for a completely arbitrary reason, but someone didn't believe in him. Someone in Jon Jones's past did not believe in him enough to let him go fight at the weight that he weighed. And Daniel had a similar situation. And the idea that if you rematch them at heavyweight, that you would have a different result. I mean, that is the same kind of guy that sits around talking about the different possible integers as to why Batman could beat Superman. I've had to do this before. I had to do this before with a friend who's a judge in MMA, but he truly believes that there are certain street fighters that could beat up certain MMA fighters. And then he'll even break it down for you. He'll break it down that they don't poke in the eye. My friend in the street, you gouge him right in his eye. As though the trained MMA fighter wouldn't also gouge your eye in a street fight. It just gets weird. It gets really weird. But I've had people actually stand on it. They're the same weak-minded people that thought Ronda could beat up Floyd Mayweather. There is a kind of people that exist. But at the end of my analysis, it's going to finish the way it started. And it goes like this. Who would win between Jon Jones and Daniel Cormier at heavyweight? And the punchline is, what the hell are you talking to Jon about something other than Tom Aspinall?